Super Mario goes out of this world at the box office. Jonathan Majors is back, and so much more in this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is the illustrious, the amazing, the clean-shaven Jake Holtz. Well, close to clean. He's got a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow going on there. Jake, I would ask you how you're doing, but I have a headline that I'd like for you to read.
I don't care.
I have a question, but I don't care. And I have a question that I'd like to ask you because this is very interesting to me. Everyone's heard about this, so I'm going to say, instead of did you hear this, it's did you know this? Seth MacFarlane used AI deepfake technology to portray former President Bill Clinton in season 2 of his hit comedy Ted. MacFarlane licensed the technology from a company called Deep Voodoo. According to the Daily's newsletter, the company uses, quote, license-only data sets, actor consent required, bespoke models built from scratch in its work. Jake, can you guess who owns the company and why it was even founded?
I don't have to guess. Because when I saw this 2 weeks ago, and I'll call Ryan out because I did see it. It was listed as MacFarlane uses South Park's deep fake AI to act as Bill Clinton in Ted TV show.
Yes. So this
was the headline that I read.
This was in the dailies, I think on Friday or Wednesday of this past week. But what's even funnier, and the reason why I asked this question, so yes, it's by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park. The reason why I ask is because not only did you answer who, but why? Why did they go about making it?
Probably to make fun of people easier and more efficiently.
There's one person in particular. Take a guess. Go ahead. Don't just.
Well, I think Emily guessed this.
Who? Okay.
Right?
What'd she guess?
Wasn't it Donald Trump?
It is. Yes. Yeah. Trey Parker and Matt Stone said, we want to make fun of Donald Trump. We want to make a deep fake movie about Donald Trump. And there was no such technology that existed, so they created it themselves.
Huh.
And have been quietly operating as Deep Voodoo, selling their technology to other places, and henceforth, that's why Seth MacFarlane has Bill Clinton in his show Ted, the second season of Ted, I should say. I thought that was interesting. I'm not watching Ted, although I probably should. It seems like it's really fun. I've seen a lot of good clips from it. But this is Beyond the Screen, where we talk about news in terms of entertainment, film, and so on and so forth. We give our opinions, we read the latest, and we tell you what we think. So with that out of the way, let's get into our first segment, which is always box office news. The way we begin our box office news is we always go through our predictions from last week. Every week at the end of segment 1, we look at what's coming out this upcoming Friday and we say, what do we think? We're not going upon, based upon analysts. We're not going on the numbers. We are looking only in terms of information. The only thing we can use is our past week's data. So we have to guess using consumer trends, using what we know in terms of industry standards, what we think, and all that wrapped into a tight little bow. We're competing against Claude, who we call TJ. So it's not just us against each other, it's us versus a bot. And it's been an interesting little dilemma that we've come across because Claude has been very accurate in these first few weeks of our prediction special here in season 3, I should say. So let's go over what we predicted this past week. Starting with Jake, or actually I should say, we'll start with me. I predicted Super Mario Galaxy, Project Hail Mary, The Drama, Hoppers, and Reminders of Him 1 through 5. And all of those are correct. This is my second 5 of 5, but my first of season 3. You guys don't understand how rare for new viewers. This is not a common occurrence to happen for us to get 5 out of 5, and I'm going to take that and run to the bank because it probably won't happen for another couple of months. So I'm very excited about it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Emily, our director behind the scenes pushing buttons. I'm very excited about the 5 out of 5 because it does not happen very often. Following that, Jake got 2 out of 5 correct, going Super Mario Galaxy and Project Hail Mary 1 and 2 both correct. He then predicted Hoppers, The Drama, and They Will Kill You at 3 through 5, which was a good prediction. The thing is, no booze. No booze. I swat at thee. Yes. The thing is, the drama and Hoppers, they're so close in terms of competition. We'll get into the numbers here in a minute. And if you remember last week when we came back, or when we got to this portion and predicting this upcoming week, there was a three-way essentially tie going into what could be this week, and it genuinely was up for debate. Like there was really hard, or a very, very tough like slate of films to predict for fifth. So I will say mine's more than luck. So good job, Jake. 2 out of 5 is still really good. And Claude predicted the exact same thing as me, going 5 of 5, which is what's scary. So me and Claude both go 5 of 5, both predicting Super Mario movie or Super Mario Galaxy. Project Hail Mary, the drama, Hoppers, and reminders of him 1 through 5. That pushes our season totals to me and Claude are tied. Me and TJ tied for 8 or at 8, and Jake is close behind at 4 points scored in total. 4, yeah.
Halfway.
A 4-point lead isn't that bad. You get one good week, I have one bad week, and you're tied with us, like with me. So again, the way that it works, we're keeping track of every position we get right throughout the season. So I got 5 out of 5, so I get 5 points. Same thing for Claude, and then Jake getting 2 out of 5, he gets 2 points added to a season total. Come and join us in next year's March at the Oscars, because we will be giving away a prize or like a trophy for the winner.
$1 million?
$1 million beyond the screen bucks. With that out of the way, let's go over what the top 5.
What's
Sorry,
the
what?
conversion rate? What's
The conversion rate? You actually probably lose money because you're paying for printing. But let's go through our 1 through 5. You've probably heard it. You probably know it. Super Mario Galaxy leads the way at number 1, followed by Project Hail Mary at 2. The drama comes in at 3 in a debut. Hoppers at 4, and reminders of him at 5. Let's go back to the top and let's read those numbers, break them down from 1 through 5. Back to the top again, Super Mario Galaxy debuts. We said it in our lead-in. We all predicted it. It was an easy home run for everyone predicting, even at home if you're predicting. Super Mario debuts to $130.9 million earned domestically. Do you know how hard it is to earn $100 million domestic? And they did it.
It's not that bad.
Oh, it's not that hard. They did that in a 3-day weekend. Their global tally is $372.5 million, all on a $110 million budget. As pointed out by the dailies, this $130 million opening, like domestic weekend, is just shy of the original's $146.3 million opening. Remind you, the original opened on a 5-day holiday weekend. The sequel, in 2 less days, almost caught it. So it makes you wonder if they had done a similar tactic, what it would have pushed if it had the same 5-day release schedule. So anyway, Galaxy, if they would have done a 5, no need to wonder, would have pulled in 190. That would have been the biggest domestic opening since Disney's Moana 2. So I think the thing is, when I was looking at the numbers, they weren't really counting them as a 5-day outside of this one. So maybe they were looping them in together. I'm not for sure. Maybe this was supposed to be a 5-day weekend and it just only counted it towards this one. But from the dailies, Super Mario Galaxy is the only one they referenced it being a 5-day holiday weekend. So either way, we'll see here. That 190 is the biggest opening since Disney's Moana 2. Still a big deal. Another interesting fact by the dailies, 62% of moviegoers for this film were, quote, non-frequent viewers. So
how'd they get that data?
I would imagine that it's post-track. So there's the same way that they're asking people what they would grade the film. They're probably saying, like, how often do you go? Are you a frequent movie? And most of them, probably 62% probably said no. So these video game adaptations, again, we saw it with Minecraft, and we're seeing it with other, like, again, video game adaptations where non-moviegoers are going to the movies to see these adaptations. 62%, again, according to the dailies, that's an astronomically high number for any audience percent ever, anywhere. So the Rotten Tomato reviews are about the same from the first to the second. Those include a 41% on the tomato meter and an 89% on the popcorn meter. Again, this divide was the exact same for the first. Critics hate these movies and audiences love these movies. Again, 60% of those audiences from this past weekend do not normally go to the movies. And what we talk about on the show, the movies are made to have fun. It's not always about your Tarkovskys. It's not always about like you trying to make these art house films. So I want to put that out there just as we're going through this. The Rotten Tomatoes synopsis, sit down. Okay? It's going to be a long, drawn out description of this film. So be prepared. Quote, Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach embark on an adventure across the galaxy.
What about Rosalina?
There's so much more to this story that they just didn't.
What about Yoshi?
That's the official Rotten Tomatoes.
What about Yoshi in New York?
Nope, doesn't matter. Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach. Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, and I think it's Anya Taylor-Joy is Princess Peach. Isn't that who she is? Am I wrong? Or is she
Yes.
Rosalina?
No, she's Rosalina.
She's Rosalina. Okay.
I thought that.
Whatever.
Mm.
You're probably right because I don't remember her being in the first one. But either way.
2026. Brie Larson's Rosalina. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I remember that.
And then
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
Princess, and Anya's Peach.
I was right. I won't even lie. When you doubted me, I was like, yeah, you're probably right.
Benny
apologies.
Safdie's Bowser Jr.
Apologies, Illumination and Nintendo fans, because we might have mixed those up, but that's okay. Finishing second in its third weekend in theaters is Project Hail Mary, earning $30.6 million domestically, pushing its global tally to $420.7 million. Dropping 43% after losing IMAX screens, the Ryan Gosling flick continues to impress. Projections for the film all time, in terms of all-time earning, now sit somewhere between $600 and $700 million. Again, we've talked about this every week leading up to the release and now through the release. Amazon and MGM needed this, and this is delivering not just to expectation, but beyond, more than they could have ever hoped for. So big dubs for Amazon, MGM, and so on and so forth. Jake just threw Star Fox into the Google Doc. I want that to be known and on the record, and I know you guys can't see it, especially our audio listeners. He just sent in a PNG of Star Fox who goes, Glenn Powell, BTW, which is...
That's who he voices.
I know that's who he voices. He apparently pitched it himself. It was like, I am this character. And...
Can I tell people that I just am this character and then play that character?
It worked for Glenn Powell. I mean, and he desperately needed a win after his last two films not really doing. Running Man and How to Make a Killing both kind of flopped for him, A24 and Edgar Wright. But anywho, we're going to move on past Glenn Powell and Project Hail Mary, because again, Project Hail Mary is doing very well, and it's looking like it's going to stick around in the top two probably for, at least to the end of the month. There's another film coming out that we'll talk about probably in a couple of weeks coming out near the end of the month that will definitely push a lot of these down, but that's called foreshadowing for a couple of weeks down the line. Coming in at third is The Drama, debuting at $14.4 million domestically, pushing its global tally to $28 million on a budget of $28 million. So it's earned back its production value in one single weekend. Zendaya and Robert Pattinson headlined the third biggest domestic opening film for A24, and both critics and audiences are mostly aligned with how they felt about the film, giving a 77 tomato meter and an 81% on the popcorn meter, which we see these kind of every now and again, but very rarely are they this close. So Zendaya and Robert Pattinson headline a decent film for A24, and again, the third highest domestic opening for the company. The Rotten Tomatoes synopsis includes, quote, a happily engaged couple is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. Apparently, it's nuts what the twist is. I've been refusing to hear it because I'm probably going to go see this in the next few days, and I'm very excited to get into a theater. But anywho, finishes third in a great debut for A24. And then rounding out our top five, Hoppers comes in fourth in its fifth weekend in theaters, earning $5.8 million domestically, dropping 52% in ticket sales from last week, pushing its global total to $332.2 million. And fifth is Reminders of Him in its month in theaters. It's its fourth weekend, earning $2.2 million. It drops similarly to Hoppers, but it's expected when you have, again, heavy hitters like Project Hail Mary, Super Mario ahead of it, so it drops 53%, pushing its global total to $79 million. If I remember correctly, the production cost for that was around 20-something or maybe 30-something, so this is another... The Colleen Hoover is 2 of 3 in book adaptations. Very well done for Colleen Hoover and the production house of Reminders of Him. Other news from around the box office, They Will Kill You and Durhandar both drop out of the top 5. That was the other two of the 3 with Reminders of Him that was tough to decide between predicting for this week. It was Reminders of Him, They Will Kill You, and Durhandar were all separate from like a combined $500,000, which is astronomically small. That is a 1 or 2 theater chain or like 1 or 2 theater houses singularly difference between the 3. And it was really tough to pick, but Reminders of Him outlasts the other 2. With that out of the way, Jake, before we get into our predictions for this week, what around the box office catches your eye?
Well. A Great Awakening coming out of nowhere. Roadside Attractions. I got no idea. What is this about? One of the most defining moments in American history is the story of an unlikely friendship between the Reverend George Whitefield and Benjamin Franklin. So, little historical... I don't have a drama history. This is a drama history.
I'm looking at Roadside Attractions to learn more about them as a production house, but keep going.
We've seen them once or twice before come up, and I'm not seeing much more. When there's an AI doc, yeah, second week that Ryan said he was going to go watch, and I don't know if he ever did.
I forgot.
Second week holding at 14. Did not release to many theaters. 886. So I don't even know if you can, Ryan, because it's dropping pretty quick.
The AI doc.
Yeah.
It's now on mine. It says 635, but that might just be a refresh.
Yeah, it was 800 last week.
Oh, got you. It's dropping very quickly. Yeah. The thing is that this one will end up on a platform or a service or something. Like I'm not too worried about that. It's sad I couldn't get it in theaters. But
you're what's killing it. You're what's killing the theater business.
Yeah. It earned $270,000. It's pulled in a total of $1,191,000. So it's gonna be fine.
But that's about it.
Yeah, I can agree with you. It's interesting to see in the top 15 still, like you see Goat, Scream 7, which we'll talk about the follow-up to Scream 7 later in the day. Undertone, it seems like those three, Ready or Not 2, that 12 or 9 through 12 spots, they're still kicking. Like they're not going away. That's Ready or Not 2, Undertone, Scream 7, and Goat. All four of those films have been in or around the box office top 10, or it was 5, then 10, and now 15. Week after week after week, they just will not go away. Undertone, a horror film in its fourth week, still pulling in over $1 million in the top 10 seems odd, especially for like an A24 film. These films usually drop heavily in ticket sales, and they're still pulling in good numbers. They're still, and that's only in 370 theaters. So people are still going to see Undertone. Scream 7 is 11th. It's 6th week in theater, pulled in just under $1 million at over 1,000 theaters, and then Goat pulling in, it's got over $100 million in total. And it's just these films, it's interesting to see which ones stick around week after week after week. But this is a great year for the box office. We're getting a lot of these layover films in the first quarter of 2026. And again, we'll talk about this later, but some of the numbers for the box office and for the year 2026 have come out, and this is a great year. In fact, maybe putting the cart before the horse, we'll talk about it again later. This might be the best year for Hollywood since 2019. So since pre-pandemic, we might have actually finally hit the mark. But with that out of the way, we won't go forward too far before we get there. Jake, let's walk through our predictions. Walk me through your top
5. Not a lot coming down the pipe. So top 3 are probably going to remain the same. Super Mario Galaxy, Project Hail Mary, and The Drama are my top 3. I've got kind of a curveball that I didn't know about at all, is You, Me, and Tuscany, which is a comedy romance led by, who was it, Ryan?
Reggae Jean-Pierre? Jean something?
Jean Page. Yeah. And who is he?
Dude from Bridgerton season 1.
I got it at 4. I don't know. I think it's going to do something. And then I've got Hoppers at 5 because it's still sitting at about 5 million. So I think it'll come in at around 2, like everything else has at number 5. And I don't have high hopes for You, Me, and Tuscany, but there are others that may see double digits out of this film. So,
yeah. See, first off, when you asked me and I couldn't think of like his last name, my first thought was hot guy from Bridgerton, and I could just hear the masses going, which one? Because there's a ton of them in that show. But no,
that's your opinion.
That's one that scares me a little bit, is You, Me, and Tuscany, because I do not have it in my top 5 simply because it's marketing. I am not of the demographic. Again, we're not using analytics. We're not using predetermining numbers to figure out and predict what our top 5 are, because then we'd have the same top 5 every week. We're betting.
To be fair, I saw it as a wide, and I was like,
yeah. It just doesn't seem to me. And the thing is, with these drama or these rom-coms, they're either hit or miss. They're either great and they last in the top 3 for 6 weeks, or they're like Reminders of Him, where they're maybe 4 or 5, but they stick around for a while, or they just miss completely. Like there's really no like. It's not like a kid's family movie or an animation where you're like, oh yeah, that's going to be top number 1 for at least a week or 2. And then you can keep it in there. Like, again, it's Hoppers. And then it was, what was it before that? It wasn't, Oh gosh, what was the big Pixar release or Disney release right at the end of last year? Why am I blanking? Zootopia 2. It's like it was
Yep.
Zootopia 2 before Hoppers, but if we go back and try to get a top 5 without one of those two, you'd have to go back to like October. It just doesn't happen. So it's a little bit harder with those. And so for me, again, it just didn't hit my feed. It's not something that I am partaking in terms of You, Me, and Tuscany. So it's not in my top 5. I have Super Mario Galaxy, Project Hail Mary, and the drama. It was tough, especially with the drama and Hoppers, because again, horror films and these kind of niche films like the drama and A24, they have a tendency to drop really far. But with the drama earning just under 14.5 million, even if it drops by 50%, I still don't think it's going to drop below 6 million, and Hoppers will probably drop closer to 5. So I think I was having an internal debate of whether I should flip Hoppers and the drama at 3 and 4. I'm going to stick to my guns. I don't think Hoppers will drop another 50% because even if You, Me, and Tuscany does well, it's not going to, there's nothing else coming out that's going to pull its audience like Galaxy did this week. So that same number of people I feel like will still be going out, even if it's obviously not to the same extent. It will probably drop another 30% and be around that 4 number. So I think the drama will be 3rd, Hoppers at 4, and then I actually took a shot at 5. I have Faces of Death, and it's the same exact reason why you have You, Me, and Tuscany, and this might be a little bit of biasy because it's more of a film that I would enjoy, and this might be the thing that bites me in the butt. It's an IFC film. It's another wide release. It's, quote, the synopsis from Box Office Mojo, a woman employed as a website content mod comes across a series of violent videos reproducing death scenes from a film, and that film stars, and this is where when I saw this, I saw its leading ensemble. This is exactly why I thought maybe it could be top 5 and sneak in. Dacre Montgomery from Stranger Things and Charlie XCX. So you have these two heavy hitters who people love to go see. Will it do better than, again, You, Me, and Tuscany? Probably not, because it just completely slipped my mind, and I'm not going to lie, that's a great pull from Jake. But I threw Faces of Death at 5 as kind of like my Hail Mary, because outside of the top 4, I don't know who's going to come 5. And Jake, TJ has a bit of a surprise for us.
Yeah. Am I supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
The keeper of the TJ.
Super Mario Galaxy at 1. Shocker, right? Everybody didn't think it was going to happen, but TJ says so it'll happen at number 1. Number 2, You, Me, and Tuscany. It is claiming 14 million because it's middling the road. It expected it to be 12 to 18, which is nuts.
You know what's crazy to me is, even if, let's say that it hits that 14, do you expect Project Hail Mary at 30.6 million to drop 60%?
After dropping 40 in its 3rd week? No.
It dropped
I
from
think people
50,
are watching it.
It dropped
more
from
than
50 something to 30 something. Yeah, I think it'll stay around that 20 million, maybe 18. Like, it'll be tight if that's accurate, but I don't think, like, that's insane to me to think that after earning 30 million in its 3rd week, that just because it's already its 3rd week. It's not like we've crest the hill yet for Project Hail Mary. I just don't think it's going to earn closer to 10. I think it's going to earn closer to 20. Sorry, I didn't mean to bombard in there, but that, like, looking at that and hearing that 14 million at 2, it's like, I don't think Project Hail Mary will get below 15.
And then Project Hail Mary at 3, the drama at 4, and Faces of Death at 5.
Isn't that nuts?
No Hoppers.
Claude might know something we don't, which is actually probably very true because he's pulling from the entirety of the internet and we're not. But again,
says the one who got all 5 right last time with the bot.
Yeah, that's been our prediction special. We do this every week, and we'll keep track of our points every single week until we get to our our Oscar special this upcoming March. I say this upcoming as if it's not just April, but anywho, stick around for the long haul. Finish
11 months.
3. Yeah, dude, we're already at episode 4 of season 3. Isn't that crazy? That was a month ago.
We're 1/12 of the way there, guys.
Right. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get out of our box office predictions and our box office segment. Let's move on to segment 2. But first, let's take a quick break. Coming up after the break, Jonathan Majors, The Daily Wire, and communists.
Average Tuesday, Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, that's all I can think about. Coming up next. Welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You made it to segment 2, which is our major news segment. Every single week, we talk about the biggest and the best from around not just the box office, but from the world of entertainment and movies. Sometimes we do reviews like last week. If you haven't seen our review last week of Project Hail Mary, go back. We bring in the lovely Rosemary Kelly, who has not only read the book, but seen the movie twice, once in IMAX. She is a major Andy Weir fan and is a Ryan Gosling connoisseur. And I see Jake, who usually is he's so me. I think Rose might have you beat on that one. But
no, she's not him.
She's not him. But go back and watch that because it was a fun episode, and we got into some deep discussion about the story and broke it down. It was a lot of fun. But this week we're going to talk about, again, Jonathan Majors, The Daily Wire, and communism. And I promise there was no better way to lead into this story because it's absurd. As absurd as that lead-in sounds, the story just gets so much worse. So let's get into the story. Said story has some backstory, so let's just kind of set the table. Let's set the lay of the land. Let's take a broad look before we get into the deep nooks and crannies of what's going on. The Jonathan Majors comeback tour is officially underway, ladies and gentlemen. 3 years after being found guilty of a 2023 domestic assault charge, the Major is back, and he's in 2 productions, one of which he's found himself cast in an untitled action flick co-produced by Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire and Dallas Shawnee's Bonfire Legend film banner. So Bonfire Legend they've worked with Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire before to create a few others, whatever. But so this is not like a new partnership, but these are things that have happened, and now their newest project is with Jonathan Major. Described by Deadline, quote, "The film is written and directed by Kyle Rankin, who did Run, Hide, and Fight. While the title and the plot are under wraps, we understand the story is said to be in the vein of 80s and 90s action movies like Red Dawn and Toy Soldiers, which were both about groups of teenage boys who had to band together to defeat invading enemies." I have a sneaking suspicion this is not going to be like that because neither Jonathan Majors nor his co-star, which we'll talk about here in a minute, are teenage boys. But I digress. We will move on.
You don't know that.
That is the scariest looking 15-year-old I've ever seen in my life. Either one of them. Anyway, so production gets underway and everything runs smoothly until March 26th, when IATSE, the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, they're the biggest union for film workers in the nation. They called a strike on the Daily Wire and Bonfire Legend South Carolina production after members of their crew walked off set following, quote, a series of labor issues. It was later discovered that this initial walk-off and following protest, because yes, they didn't just walk off set, they protested, picket lined and everything outside of this set, was specifically aimed at getting producers to sign a contract that would, quote, secure payment into the union's health and pension funds. So they just want to use the union, what the union is there for. And the producers were saying no. Despite the loss of crew and the union's protest, the 2 production houses worked quickly to replace the agitated workers, a move IATSE lambasted, going as far as to discourage any other workers who might be interested in taking these positions from doing so. When asked about the strikes by Deadline, Bonfire Legend owner and founder again, Dallas Shawnee, had this to say, quote, "We are too busy being badasses, blowing stuff up, flying helicopters, and killing movie terrorists to concern ourselves with 4 assholes with signs on the sidewalk and their illegitimate strike. I want you to keep one specific phrase in mind, them blowing stuff up, because that's going to come back literally a week after he said this. But anyway, let's continue. So let's move forward to this past week. What was a union issue quickly evolved into a worker safety issue, and thus Daily Wire's problems grew. All of this culminated early last week, as video evidence shows an accident that occurred on set featuring Majors and his co-star J.C. Kilcoyne. We actually have that for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and show our people at home what happened on set.
No!
Yeah.
Let it go back. Let it go back.
So for those not watching the video and listening, that was taken straight from set, published by Deadline specifically. In the middle of a take, Jonathan Majors, who's I'm assuming again it's an action scene, he jumps back because the character is probably getting shot at. He trips.
Mm-hmm.
Behind him is his co-star JC Kilcoyne, who tried to catch him, and they both stumbled backwards into a window, which fell with their weight, and they dropped 6 feet. This is following protests asking for the union, health, and other pensions to be involved. So now we've reached a breaking point. Again, the two are seen mid-take. They fall. The window in particular had been replaced. This wasn't just a normal window, if you could imagine, because it fell so easily. This was, quote, an unsecured piece of tempered glass to be purposefully shattered in a later stunt not involving the two actors, which again easily gave way and the duo fell 6 feet. According to someone on set, Kilcoyne needed stitches all over his face. Still, according to Deadline, another crew member was later called to reset the tempered glass following the fall, yet not a single word was mentioned to him about an accident. He walked on set and no one told him that the reason he was replacing the glass was because people fell through it.
He didn't need to know. Need to know basis, and he didn't need to know.
Reps for Kilcoyne were quick to ensure that not only was the actor taken care of by production following the incident, but that he feels safe on set. And that is very specific. He feels safe on set. Don't worry, guys. Again, reminder, this incident was following a culmination of other accidents or incidents, right? We talked about crew safety, including reports of a rigged tree branch following on the set medic.
On the medic.
It fell on the medic. This is after, again, what we saw, kind of the breaking point that broke this into a huge story, what we just saw, came after the medic was hit by a rigged branch that fell on him, and after other issues that we'll get into here later. But again, and then Jonathan Majors falls through a window and all hell breaks loose. This is where things get hilarious, in my humble opinion. According to crew members on set, there were never any meetings with production heads before any scenes or stunts, resulting in no clear distinction of who worked for who and on what. This was such a problem that crew began circulating a black market crew list to learn who they needed to work with and what for. So they, instead of, and we've been on a film set before, we've been on multiple film sets before, Jake, where it's like, you kind of know, we are very like guerrilla filmmaking. And so it's like to say we have heads of departments.
It helps that I can count how many there are.
Yes. But when someone is in charge of something, you know who they are instantly and you know to go to them. Mm-hmm. In this instance, producers were not telling people that, and they were having to create black market crew lists so they could share who was talking to who was doing what, and who needed to report to who. Done by the crew themselves. One of these unnamed supervisors includes a man by the name of Chris Bailey. Bailey operates as the film's special effects supervisor, so in short, the man who's in charge of things like firearms, explosives, and other important aspects of the stunt-filled movie. Remember before? Shanye was like, we're blowing this stuff up. The only issue, Bailey has previously pled guilty to illegal possessions of explosives on a movie set from a 2021 case in Georgia. When contacted by Deadline, Bailey called the charge a paperwork infraction, further stating, quote, no pyro was mishandled. And this is why I love good journalism. Because in the same article that they're reporting that Bailey said this, they linked a press release from the United States Attorney Office in 2021, which stated about this exact case that, again, Bailey is saying is a paperwork infraction and whatever. States, and I quote, this is verbatim, as described in court documents and testimony, on or about July 9th, 2018, Bailey was working as a special effects and pyrotechnics coordinator on the Savannah movie set for The Poison Rose, starring John Travolta and Morgan Freeman. After an investigation by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive, which is the ATF, Bailey admitted in court that he was prohibited from possessing explosive materials because of a prior criminal conviction. Paperwork infraction. the guy admitted in court he shouldn't do that because of a conviction before that. So anyway, if you think there's a lot, we're not done yet. Producers of this film had to change locations for their set because before filming even began, those pesky little crew members pushed to move set once they discovered a black mold infestation in their original set. So the thing is, you might be thinking, well, you know, whatever, that's more annoying, but they discovered it and they moved. The problem is producers knew about this before they started filming and before crew showed up because a contractor told them as much. And the producers still pushed to have it filmed in that location. To round it all out, around 60% of all crew has signed a union card stating that they do indeed want a collective bargaining agreement through IATSE. Now, you at home might be wondering what the Daily Wire and Bonfire Legends response was, right? Like, well, they obviously, they appeal to the plight of the crew. They're worried about their safety. They changed their ways. And, well, you know, they gave them what they needed and they helped them out. They made sure that they could get the health insurance and the pay. No, actually. They stated in response to this, quote, the entire industry is in free fall due to strikes. And now that their members are out of work, they're trying to sabotage the few people who are still producing. We don't negotiate with communists.
Crazy.
Okay.
Me neither.
I think it's so good. As things, it's literally like we were talking about this before the show. It's genuinely like a sitcom. It's like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like The Office. It's like whatever, where it's like everything that could go wrong. It's like the scene in Community when Donald Glover walks back in and everything's on fire. He's holding the pizza in his hand, but it's like one PA who was sent out to grab everyone coffee. And when he comes back, Jonathan Majors and Kilcoyne are like out of a window. He's getting stitches everywhere. There's fire in other places. The one dude who's been criminally convicted of obtaining and using explosive when he shouldn't, twice actually, is holding a bomb, just cradling it like precious, like he's over in the corner straight up like Gollum with a big stick of TNT. Like, this is just absurd what is happening here. So again, we talked about this before a little bit. We've worked on small sets. What do we think of this production hell? Because that's what this is. This is just production hell. What do we think?
I think I want to be on this set. I feel I'm one of those guys that I get bored, right? And so I'm looking for excitement, right?
Hey, yo, Chris, blow it up. Chris, like, yeah, I'll blow it up, yeah.
What's even funnier is Chris Bailey is a local meteorologist.
Yeah, that's
so not only is he in charge of pyrotechnics, but he's also the weatherman.
For the sake of legality, they're not the same person. They just have the same name.
Debbie Downer.
Legality's sake. But no, I think of this and I hear this, and I mean, we've been a part of sets that haven't been ideal, but that's kind of like guerrilla filmmaking at its finest, is that it's like everyone's wearing hats and people are going to argue and disagree because of creative differences and whatever. But it's interesting because I've never seen a group of creatives or like a group of leadership like this with Dallas or with Ben Shapiro, who are just out of their way saying, nah. Like, they're purposefully picking locations that are filled with asbestos because they're cheaper. They're putting up tempered glass in windows, knowing that they're going to be shooting near them. And regardless of what dangers may happen, they're like, yeah, just do it. And then when they fall out a window, Majors isn't saying anything. No one said anything else. IATSE's outside banging down their door. The Rets for Kilcoyne was like, he's fine. Like, it's just,
he'll be all right.
This is like, and then when IATSE's banging down their door and they're like, hey, we like want to feel safe on set. They're like, oh, communism. It's just a crazy experience. Say what?
That's something a communist would say.
It's something a communist would say. Yeah. One of not to mention, and all of that, you have, again, the golem of pyrotechnics holding a stick of TNT in the corner. I get paid to do this. Can you imagine? You walk up to that guy and you're like, hey, the car explodes in the next scene. And he's just as like, he's got his back turned and he's like, I know. And he's got like wires everywhere.
Be worried about the gunshots too. I mean, like,
Something else as well, an unsubstantiated claim from Deadline was that they were using airsoft guns, which is a whole. I would hope that those are unloaded airsoft guns, but that's a whole other thing of like if they want it, because like this would like be the icing on the cake. Is they're like, okay, not only is our guy that's handling all of these things someone who shouldn't be handling these things legally, but we're gonna load these airsoft guns for realism, and if you feel a hit, you just go down. And that, like, I feel like that's me being hyperbolic, but I feel like that would fit the standard set here on this set.
Yeah.
So with that, we're talking about these issues and these standards. There's a lot of moving parts. Which major production issue stands out to you the most?
I would honestly the not knowing who you work for is quite annoying. I mean, that's awful. How are you supposed to get anything done? So we've all heard of production hell. What is it? Is this what that is? Because like I don't think that production hell means this. This is
like
different.
A special case, definitely. There's no way. Like production hell in my mind's like you're way over budget, you're way over time. Like there's a lot of disagreements, but at least it's still a professional.
Things are changing.
Yeah. The script's being rewritten on the fly. Like that's production hell. This is like I don't even know what you would call this. This is like this is like the third layer of hell. This is like that's like surface level hell. This is like
seventh circle.
Yeah.
Third circle.
The seventh circle, whatever, fine. This is like the seventh circle. This is the worst.
Yeah. I don't know. Heat rises, so you could say that the seventh is the worst.
Dante was a filmmaker and he got down there and he ran. You know, like that's kind of where we're at right now. That's how bad this set is.
Hey, is it revenge or other word for what Jonathan Majors has done?
I feel like the thing is
this karma?
It's fun that you bring that up because that's another talking point I had was like, it does this damage his comeback tour, which to be honest with you was small and fledgling to begin with. I don't think this helps. Like, okay, I get what you're asking, but man, it doesn't look great when you fall out a window and you can't comment, because I feel like something else I didn't say too is that Majors himself is an executive producer on the film. So he is also like putting his stamp of approval on anything.
He's very aware of the decisions being made.
Yes. Anything Shapiro or I don't think Shapiro is specifically a producer. He might be an executive producer, but like Shanye or any of these other producers who are genuinely making these decisions, Majors is the guy over them. Like Majors is an exec. So he's the one who's hired a lot of these guys. He knows what's going on. So if anything, in my mind, this is like, it's worse than if he just would have disappeared. You know, because it's like, you get convicted of what he got convicted of. And again, it's not like we're not going to talk about that because it's like 3 years ago. And that is like a lot longer of a story than what we're talking about now. But if you just disappear, it makes you look real bad. You know, like it makes you look like, I did it and I don't want to deal with the repercussions of my actions. And like he was convicted of it. So we know he did it. But it's like, I don't want to face the repercussions of what I did. But then he turns around after these years of whatever, trying to make a comeback, and it goes into business with the Daily Wire, which is known to bring back canceled, quote unquote, canceled actors and actresses. They specifically target these audience members or these performers who do bad things. And Jonathan Majors is like, yeah, I'll go into business with him.
I need the money.
But who's paying for this, though? Like, honestly, like Ben Shapiro. So Ben Shapiro is paying Jonathan Majors. I'm wondering, like, who's paying the Daily Wire Plus subscription to watch this at home on their laptop? Like, yo, this is the movie that Majors fell through the window. Like, that's going to be kind of, it's going to be like, not a cult classic, but it's going to be like this thing where it's like, I know what movie this is. This is where he puts the guy out the window. And then you watch it for 5 minutes and you think this is god awful and you turn it off. Like that's how I feel like this movie's going to be.
It's a Tubi original.
Tubi originals, I feel like actually have some substance.
Are better.
Not really. I feel like at least Tubi is like, if you were to put on two movies and one was a Tubi original and one was a Daily Wire original, I'm watching Tubi. No way am I going to Daily Wire.
I want to find a Tubi original that's top 10.
That's top
It's
10.
gonna take a little bit though.
Just
Or
some of
not
their
a top
top.
10, but just Tubi originals, top 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm interested to see
I've
which
actually
ones.
never heard of any of these, and I'm in the 30s.
Oh boy. Well, I haven't heard of the other
So
Daily Wire either, which was it Run? Hold on, I'll find it. By the same director too. I got it right here. Run, Hide, and Fight, or Run, Hide, Fight is the name of the director's last film, which was also a Daily Wire original. Never heard of her. I find this very fascinating. But to go back to your last question, which major production issue stands out the most? I just cannot help but laugh at the idea of like you have tree limbs that you purposefully cut falling out of the sky and landing on the one person who's there to keep you healthy. Like, and if you heard in the video, which we're not making fun of the fact that like someone got genuinely hurt, but that came before. If the chain of events is true, this set medic got hit by a branch that they cut like days before, or maybe a week before Jonathan Majors fell out of a window. Yeah, props falling all over the place. You have an asbestos-filled set forcing you to change. I don't know. I think that like those outwardly, obviously ignored situations are the things that stand out to me the most.
I'm not finding any movies either. Dang.
Daily Wire. Yeah, we're talking about.
But still, man, Tubi versus Daily Wire. That's a hard one.
So here we go. Last question on this before we move on.
Okay.
What needs to be done to potentially right the ship on production?
A lot of firings and a lot more communication.
Like how so? Like let's walk through that.
Emily says new management. Next question.
Yeah. I mean, yes, obviously you need to not be in business with the Daily Wire, but let's say that, I mean, this is a film that's going to keep going. They've probably spent millions trying to make it happen. So it's not like they're going to stop. Jonathan Majors, his business doesn't come back to him. After
Remember when people used to shelve movies for tax purposes?
This is one that should have that happen. Like it's like, why was that happening to good movies?
Well, arguably. Are you watching Batwoman? Batgirl.
Acme versus Coyote, I'm going to watch.
Yeah. Didn't that get shelved again? Or is that coming back out?
Catch Up Entertainment bought it from HBO or not HBO, but from Warner, and they're going to release it this year.
You hope?
No, I know. They have a release date and everything. We talked about it on the show. Where are you at right now?
We did. My house.
My house? You're where Jonathan Majors is right now, at home with no film industry work. Yeah, through a window. Yeah, any final thoughts? Genuinely, any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Glad I'm not there in production purgatory.
Production purgatory is a really good place to put, because it's like it's worse than hell because nothing's happening, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like when you hired Jonathan Majors, you were like, we did it. We did it. We got the big dog himself. Yes, he's coming back, but that obviously, I think they had Armie Hammer and the woman who was fired from The Mandalorian in productions before.
Yeah.
They had those two. But this is Kang, right? Like, this is a big deal. And then everything else.
How far he's fallen.
How far? Well, I mean, he's already fallen. But yeah, I find this interesting, and I find this a lot of fun. Again, I was cry laughing explaining to this like just yesterday to my brother and Matt, both friends of the show, just trying to walk through and say, like, listen to what's happening with especially with Chris Bailey. How did he get a job? He was cheap, is what it was, and he pulled the same card as Jonathan Majors. But
you want to know why he's cheap?
Because he's a convicted felon. Can you imagine being on a film set?
Guess which I want to know, did he apply or did they seek him out?
It's like we're getting the band back together. Ben Shapiro's like, yo, Chris, you wanna play with explosives again? And Chris is like, yes. But what I more imagine it's fun is like in 2021, whenever they're like, or maybe 2018,
together a crew.
Yeah, we're putting together a team. Don't ask me to join your team. All right, I'm in. I just imagine being on the film set where he was
You
arrested.
get to handle explosives. All
Can
right.
you imagine this guy's like on a set and he's like holding like C4 and he's just kind of like caressing it very lightly. And like his like assistant looks up and there's the ATF coming, like walking directly toward him. It's like vultures over a skinny cow in a field. Like, oh no. Like here
This
it goes.
might be the most purest, rarest W for the ATF.
Yeah, like they
Because
look
I
into
don't
the
care.
history. Yeah, they're not
look
chill.
into the history of ATF. It's awful.
They're
but
not chill.
They did catch one.
They got him. They were right. Anyway, all right, we're gonna get off this story. Coming up after the break, we talk what you should know before you go. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You've made it to segment 3, which is always our what you should know before you go, our quick hits. So this segment is always made up of 5 to 8 segments or big stories that weren't big enough to be a major story, but big enough that we wanted to make sure we shared them with you and talked about them and broke them down. So you know about it. You're staying informed on the biggest and best from entertainment, Hollywood, and film and beyond. And that it's getting its fair share of love, and we're not overdoing it with our major segment. But before we do that, I always like to take this quick moment to say thank you guys so much for watching. We are doing what we can to cut down our runtime, and I hope that reflects. We're at 50 minutes, and we're already to segment 3, which is a rare W here.
I can't wait to talk for 40 minutes.
I can't wait to keep going. Yeah, honestly, that might happen. We have a tendency to run our third segment long, but again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for allowing us to do this. I say this every single week, but I want to make sure that it doesn't go unsaid. It's just you viewing our content, you allowing us to be creative, you sharing, you commenting, all the above allows us to do a lot. It allows us to have fun. It allows us to keep it's the fuel that keeps our engine going. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everything you do for us and for allowing us to do this. So with that out of the way, like, subscribe, comment, share, follow whatever platform you're on, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you find us. We'd love to have you back next week. And with that out of the way, my friend, it's time to get into quick hits. Starting off, this is the biggest, of the entire week. And this is after what we just talked about. He giveth and he taketh away. Ryan Gosling has officially dropped out of the Daniels' next film due to scheduling conflicts.
Huh.
And it's just disappointing. Apparently,
I'm going to be in this.
The Daniels did Everything Everywhere All at Once. Last week, it was a big deal. It was a fairly big deal that Ryan Gosling was going to join the A24's Golden Children and make their follow-up to an Oscar-winning film, a multi-time over Oscar-winning film. And we talked about it last week, how excited we were about it and about what that could entail, because Ryan Gosling as an actor and as a person seems to fit very well with the vibe that Everything Everywhere All at Once was portraying. Like, that feels like that'd be that vibe with his acting chops would be like a fun duo. Very quickly turned around and said, nah, actually, I can't. Do you think that has anything to do with, like, maybe the success of Project Hail Mary quickly opened doors for other projects that he was more interested in? Or do you think that this was just like, it was unfortunate he agreed and tried to make it work and then realized after a week he couldn't?
I think one of his assistants reminded him of, hey, by the way, you're actually doing this.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. Oh, when is that? Oh, you're busy then.
It's just like, I just told the masses, the world, that I was going to do it, but turns out. So, I don't know. It's very disappointing, right? Because that movie was fun to begin with, and Ryan Gosling proves time and time again that he's both a serious and a fun actor. And so I think that movie encompasses both of those, like, forget the name now. Main character of that.
You talking about Grace?
Everything.
Ryland Grace? Or are you talking
about
which one?
all at once.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. Sorry, Evelyn Kwan Wang,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. She's like a very serious character, but like is forced into these very odd situations. Whereas like what we just saw with Project Hail Mary is like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Very serious situation, very goofy character. And I really think that Ryan Gosling could switch it. Like
Oh,
he could
yeah.
definitely be the serious character in a very funny situation.
I mean, you look at any of these roles, and like I think that too is like I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit of that more seriousness. But when I look back at everything that he's done, when you think of like you talk about the seriousness, we've seen that in Drive and not 2077. Oh my gosh, I almost said
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
you got
Blade
it.
Runner 49.
Yep.
Blade Runner. So like we've seen that style and that dramatic flair and the more serious character. You can even argue The Notebook was a little bit more serious, right? But then on the other end of that, I would have liked to have seen the absurdity of Everything Everywhere All at Once with Ken, with Ryland Grace, with the nice guys. Like I would have really enjoyed I mean, they just jive really well together. They seem like they would almost flow together, like that style of absurdity with his.
We get to see the seriousness with Starfighter. Right?
I'm excited for that too. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's Star Wars, so it's really hit or miss because sometimes, like,
yeah, I guess they will be.
is he going to be more Poe Dameron and Han Solo, or is he going to be more, you know, lighthearted protagonist? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know either. We'll see.
I'm fascinated. I think it'll be fantastic, regardless of which route they take. But I don't know if he'd go super serious. I'd be kind of surprised if they made Ryan Gosling super serious in a Star Wars.
I don't
movie.
think Disney will let it, but yeah, you know.
I'd like to see his acting chops kind of open up. But moving right along, Scream 8 is officially in the works at Spyglass. So after the controversy of Scream 7 following Scream 6 and the firing of oh gosh, now I can't remember her name. This is awful. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But the exodus of what was that sequel cast and what was going to be a fantastic trilogy. Now they go back to the original ensemble. They bring back Matthew Lillard. They bring back, Neve Campbell. And the film did great. And now they have returned for a Scream 8. I guess it's just like, why? It's like, after you had to pivot, and the thing
you were the one who wanted it.
I never said I wanted a Scream 8. I said I could understand why they'd have a Scream 8, but I would have understood like why they had to continue making a 7 because they had already promised it. Right? Like you already promised it with all of Melissa Barrera is her name. Sorry. You had Melissa Barrera, you had Jenna Ortega, you had all of this ensemble that was already there. You had said, hey, we're not done with this trilogy. We're going to bring them back. And then as that's underway, I will call it unjust, but a lot of people will not call it that, just controversies. Melissa Barrera posted something pro-Palestine, and they fired her. So, and this was now 2.5 years ago. Is what it is. However, now we're moving on to Scream 8. Where do you go from here? You had to pivot hard. You bring back Neve. You bring back all of these like OG characters because you had to. You literally had nowhere else to go unless you're going for original story. Do they go the original route?
You could take the Fast and Furious page.
Screamier.
Yeah, well, and you go to space? Well, what do they do in number 8?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know what what I'd like to see happen with this, and they won't do it because they've already done it in the very recent history. They need to take a break. They should have after this.
No!
I know. The reason we were even set up to have a really good Scream 7 before the mass exodus of talent was because they took a break between 5, and then 6 and 7 were both absolutely fantastic because they had that break and they gave people enough time to be away from it so that when they came back with an original story, it felt like it was still, like it felt like it was correct. Like, okay, like, yeah, like we've had time away from this. This is original again. This is a cool concept that we're happy to return to. It's nostalgia enough that when you go back into it, you're like, I've missed this. But it's also, hey, we're moving on past the original 5. Now, or the original 4. It was 5 and 6 that had the new ensemble. Now, or no, I was wrong. I had it right. It was 6 and 7. Blah, sorry. Blah. Now, what are you going to do? It's just like, are you just going to keep farming and keep milking the same old cast and crew? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and move on because I know, Jake, you don't have a lot of horror. That's just my 2 cents about it.
Yeah. And Scream, like, dude, I've not even seen, I might have seen Matthew Lillard for like yay long. And then I tuned it out. Like, I didn't watch Scream at all.
The original.
Is that the original?
Yeah.
Is that the first one?
Yeah. Matthew Lillard's in the OG one.
Ugh.
No, I think you needed to take a break. I liked
We'll
I
see
loved
10.
5 and 6. I loved 5 and 6 after the break from 4, and now you had to pivot for 7. We will see 10, most definitely. We will see 10.
Yeah.
As long as people keep going to see these movies, like you know what they might do? Even if 8 doesn't do as well, they will make 9 a part 1. So there's enough interest for a part 2, which will be 10. Can you imagine Scream X? I can see the logo right now. It's just going to be slashes, like knife slashes.
You got to trademark it, make a boatload of money.
Yeah. Come pay me money, Spyglass and Paramount. Pay me money. But anyway, moving on. The Batman Part 2 has officially, I should say, but finally began filming.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! How do we feel?
About time. Well, they had to correct the script because they're going to crossover, right?
I have no faith in that anymore. It really felt like there was a lot of momentum.
You were the biggest proponent.
I know there was a lot of momentum towards that. But now I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot of momentum because it's like, why Brave and the Bold be canceled or not canceled, but pushed back so far? Like Andy Muschietti is like, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. And it makes sense because it's like, okay, like after Superman, you saw the popularity and you're trying to be like, hey, like let's take our time with this script so that we can find a way to connect it with the two. But now after sitting with it for so long, it's just like, I almost feel like something would have broke by now. Like if that was going to happen, we would have been made privy. But this could also be the world's biggest sneak job. And it's just like, they're just waiting to reveal it. And it's like the pop that will happen when that transpires. I don't know. But apparently Robert Pattinson is very high on this. I think if I remember correctly, he had said like, this is a Batman unlike one you've ever seen or something to that effect, where it's like, this is just a different take. This is not something we've seen on screen. So
I've seen a lot of Batmans.
There's a lot of Batman. So I hope that that's true. But my worry with that is I fear that they're going to pivot from the feel of the original. Like
I kind of hope they do, because the original was he was a detective, and now we're going into we've got a lot more characters, I think, in this one now.
Clayface is
like
horror
3 or
movie.
4. Well, yeah, but there's like 3 or 4 villains in this one now.
There's no genuine report about who's the villain. Like we don't know yet.
Well, no, not like singular, but we do know who's playing who, I thought. And we have like a Two-Face's dad. We got Joker, like
in
Barry.
Theory, Barry Keoghan is definitely going to return.
Joker's in it.
Yeah,
we've got some Two-Face mentioning. We've got
those are theories.
3rd and the 4th.
We
knew Joker was still going to be there. We knew Penguin was going to be in it as like carrying on from that TV show. So he's going to be in it.
Yeah. What are you showing me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell.
So like I said, I just think that it's okay if they deviate from the detective, but like you're not wrong. Like it was a very good way to structure.
I loved it.
I
loved the edginess and like the 90s grunge style that was Pattinson. Like I liked that. And I don't want them to deviate so far that it's so alien to what the original was. Like it has to evolve. Like that's natural. I'm not saying it has to be the exact same film recreated, but my fear is that like he's going to go from being the bratty, long-haired with the mascara to like trying to be Christian Bale. Like I don't want that. Like I don't want him to like, I like that he's awkward. I like that he is a recluse, because that makes more sense in my mind as like, if you're trying to make it different, right? Mm-hmm. You're going the more realistic route to where this is a tortured soul after he as a kid watched his parents die and he never recovered, which is kind of always what he was. But in every other rendition, he is the playboy. Like, he plays the playboy very well. I like that in this rendition he doesn't. Like, I like that, and I want to see more of that. Like, I want to continue to live in that life where maybe he gets better, but there's always something a little bit behind the eyes that it's just like, yeah, he's awkward. And everyone in Gotham's like, you know, he employs a lot of people and he does a lot of good stuff. Like, he's done well with his family's wealth, but he's an odd one. And like, everyone's like, but we get why though. Like, you know, like it's and that adds, in my mind, that would be the perfect cover, because it's like, you know, there's no way he could be because he's just too weird. You know, like no one could see Bruce Wayne as Batman because he's just such an odd duck outside of like when he's in the day.
I don't know. I feel like that gives you away more, right?
I don't know. I would like to see
he's
it.
an odd duck. Therefore,
But it's like, imagine if like the bratty long-haired dude who's like at these like things, who's literally just like,
that guy's Batman.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you think you were pointing at that guy, I'd be like, Batman. No, I think that actually help his cover a lot. I would really like to see. I would be interested to see it, and I feel like that's where they kind of are. Like, he's not good at being wealthy. He's not good at being the playboy, and that's okay. That's a different take, and I like it. And I'd like to see them, again, I understand he's going to get better at it because the whole point of the first one was he was learning. And I'd like to see that evolution and him learning that stuff. But I like that he's so distinct.
Yeah.
And I fear that they might lean too close to the sun with some of these other renditions. But anywho, any other thoughts on the Batman?
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Anyway.
Moving on, the Pit's Supriya Ganesh will not return for the series' third season. She plays Dr. Mohan. I watched the Pit.
Are you sad?
I am sad because she is, let me make sure. She is arguably one of the better characters in the show. But the reason, in the first season, they call her slow-mo because she is so empathetic and she will spend more time with her patients. Mind you, she works in an ER. So the whole point is that, like, you have to be quick.
Hey, you can't do that.
Yeah. They work at an ER in the heart of Pittsburgh, of this giant metropolitan cityscape. And so her whole character, like, her identity crisis is that, like, she's a fantastic doctor, but she's in a place that it challenges her ethically and who she is, which is interesting. And like that is like a way of like growth where you put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Again, they called her slow-mo because she was spending so much time with patients. She was hearing them out. She was really making sure they were being seen and heard and like make sure that they felt like they were okay. And other doctors in the show, Dr. Robbie Rabinovich, who is played by Noah Wiley. And I'm not even going to go down the line of the casting crew, but these other doctors, they're very quick with it. You know, like they are very rushed. Like there's a lot of them that are empathetic. Like every one of them they're empathetic to a certain extent, but it's fascinating to see the different approaches to it. And so where we are right now in the show is and I hate that this was released because you can tell it's coming. Like now that it's released that Ganesh isn't coming back to reprise Mohan, you just know that what they've been hinting at in season 2, which I'm not going to spoil because season 2 is not done and it's all very recent. What they've been hinting at is going to happen, and she's not she's going to have her mass exit, which would have been this massive like heart tug, pulling on the heartstrings at the end of the season to see that character have her send off. And I like those natural, those candid moments like that. And now I'm sad that it's a thing. Like I'm sad that it was kind of not ruined, but that I'm expecting it, because where they're at right now, you're like, oh my gosh, like, does she commit or does she not? And for those who've watched the show, you know what I mean. Does she go this new route that's been opened for her, or does she stay? That is where I like that. I'm sad that the decisions, like, we know what the decision is before we get there. It's kind of how I feel about it. But anywho, Jake, I know you love the Pit. What do you think?
I think Ryan likes gore. I think Ryan gets off on that.
No.
Yeah, he forced me to watch vampire movie. And
bro, that was a year ago. It was I made him watch Nosferatu early last year, and I'll never forget. Story time very quickly. Jake didn't know what bloodletting was. I feel like I've told this on the show before, and I hate that stuff, dude. It grosses me out. And so
sure it does.
Defoe picks up Lily Rose Depp's hand and he pulls out his stupid little like prick thing. And I was like, oh God. And so I turned because I'm like, this is going to be disgusting. And I do not want to see what I know is about to shoot out of this woman's arm. And I look over at Jake, who's sitting beside me. And Jake looks over at me like,
I'm just
"What?"
like,
Yeah, he's like, what? And I knew exactly what happened because he goes, oh, audibly in the theater. He's like, oh. I was like, yeah, man. Bloodletting. Ugh. Anyway, no, I'm not like a big gore porn fan. I'm not a, I like slashers to an extent if they have a good story, but I'm not into Terrifier or anything. Call me wimpy. You're right. Anyway, Avatar producer Ray Sanchin has shared, that the fourth and fifth installments into the franchise are in fact happening, and that the development is moving, quote, full steam ahead. We've talked a lot about Avatar on the show, and to bar our audience from hearing a lot more, Jake, what do we think?
I think this is, we knew it would happen because of they were worried that they wouldn't make enough money on 3. And it's like, well, that's weird. I thought y'all were already working on 4 and 5. But yeah, we understand that it takes money to do all the CG junk that they were doing. But yeah, it's I'm glad they're doing it, I guess, because can you imagine if they didn't get enough money to do 4 and 5 and we just have to read the rest?
Yeah.
In a book that Cameron might not even get around to finishing because he's like 70. Isn't he? 80?
Yeah, he's going to be 80.
Yeah.
I
I don't even think he's going to see the end of 5.
Well, I know I'd read somewhere that said that the assumption was that the release dates are going to change, but that the next two are underway already. So I'm happy. I know there's a lot of hate for the Avatar franchise right now because the story is not like the most mind-blowing thing. And I get it. But again, I love just living in these worlds. Like every time these movies are released, it's a technological marvel. New technology is created, and it is the magnum opus of one of the best creators of all time, of any time. And I just, I understand the hate, but just live in these worlds. Like just live with this familial gripe as they're dealing with the overtaking of humanity and the fighting for Pandora. Like enjoy it, because it's not something that, again, 5 years is done. 8 years it's done. And it's like, you will never get to see these technological marvels. This is going to be one of those things where it's like when we come back to it and we talk about it 15 years after it's wrapped up, people will say, man, I wish there'd be another one. Because it's like, again, the visuals of it. You laugh.
Avatar 6. And it's
Avatar
all just
6,
AI.
back to Pandora.
I am curious how it's going to end.
I know they go to Earth at some point. James Cameron's been very open
great.
about that at some point they end up on Earth. But
Awesome.
yeah, we will see.
I didn't know that.
I could be a total bluff, but I feel like I'd read that somewhere.
You bluffing.
You messing with me. Moving on. An Animorphs series is in the works at Disney Plus with Ryan Coogler attached to executive produce. Jake is very happily clapping his hands together. Do you remember at those old book fairs where there was just the series Animorphs, and it was the awkward and like really cringy book covers where it was like kids morphing into random animals, hence Animorph. And yeah, apparently that's going to get a series. I don't know about it. Like this feels on par with like R.L. Stine. I see you down here, Jake. Let me pull this up here for our viewers at home. Animorphs, a mistake has been made. His name is David. Oh my gosh. What an awful lead in there. That's terrible. What did David do? This is a lady. Like this is a girl turning into a white mouse, and the little subtitles like his mistake has been made. His name is David. What did David do? Going up to Animorph number 2. Oh,
that's just a meme.
Yeah.
And then I got a third
Animorph.
one in there for y'all folks.
Animorph
Ready?
3. Yes, go ahead.
Same actress.
That is, it's a bear. That is, Emily is not happy with the Animorph covers. This time, There may be no way out is the subtitle on this one.
Time.
David is a mistake, and now we will not forgive you for bringing this back, is what writers say. Maybe it's just something that it's like little kids love this stuff. Like it's a book fair legend for a reason, I suppose. So
yeah,
maybe that's what this is hinting at. It's trying to hit those markets where it's like, oh, look, kid, look how much you love this. But I don't know.
I've never seen them nor picked them up.
You've never seen Animorphs?
No.
So what are your first thoughts whenever you see this then? Your first time seeing Animorphs?
I mean, it's like 2008 core, but like
it is. Well, it's before that. It's like 2005 core, maybe earlier. But like what?
Well, I've come from where the books were a little old when they hit my library. When they hit my library, there might have been little mileage on them.
Okay. But no, I remember seeing Animorphs growing up. I remember flipping through the books, and I do remember as a kid, I never read them because I did think that they were like they're cringy a little bit, but I do remember thinking the covers were kind of cool as a kid. Looking back at them now, they're very silly. But like I remember being like, "Oh, what animal would I anamorph into?"
Yeah, what would that be, Ryan? Come on. What would that be?
Probably like I'd want
duck?
I'd go say like a gerbil.
So it's not a duck.
Can you imagine like Power Rangers style, like Animorph, and it's just this gerbil?
I would be giraffe.
You're not that tall.
Yes, but I would be.
Evil conniving fingers. Yes, giraffe.
Yes, I could reach the tops of the trees. Yes.
I'd like to see your Animorph cover with you in a PNG, like sitting there, and then you just like, yeah, it's just your necks being like crudely placed on top of each other, slowly turning red into like a beautiful JPEG of a giraffe in the back.
Beautiful.
Anyway, okay. Our last story of the day. Beautiful. I'm not helping the situation. The U.S. box office just had its best start since pre-pandemic. Numbers coming in. The box office up to this point has earned $1.77 billion thus far, which again is a record since 2019, beating 2023's great start. Jake, are we back?
We're so back.
Bro, we're back.
Says bro.
I think we are. And the thing is,
will it wane?
I don't think so. Mainly because, like, let's talk about the movies coming out later this year. Okay. The Odyssey, two Marvel films, Supergirl. And that's just the beginning. That's like 4 or 5 films very quickly that will all earn 300 million or more. On top of, this is what we already have, okay? Project Hail Mary, 177 million. Avatar Fire and Ash, yes, it released in December of last year, but this year it's earned 153 million. Hoppers, 142 million. Scream 7, 119 million. Goat, 101 million. Zootopia 2, 90 million. All that for this year. That's before we've even gotten to some of the biggest releases of the year. Before we've gotten to the summer rush, before obviously we get to the Christmas rush, which sees Dune, which sees Jumanji 3. Like, we have yet to get to the biggest and primest part of the year, and we're already setting records. I had this conversation with somebody not long ago because they were discussing about how, like, again, the feels like a tale as old as time now, but the never-ending debate of, like, attention spans. And there's a stat that I think says, like, the average person stays on a reel 3 seconds before they swipe, which is true for those platforms. If you're doing statistics and you're trying to figure out what the human attention span is like, yes, it's most definitely gone down. But you go to the 1 or 2 places that are primed to be as quick as possible, yes, you're going to get super low attention spans if you go to TikTok or you go to Instagram. It's a fallacy. You can't just go to Instagram or TikTok and say, okay, what's the attention span? And then they say 3 seconds and you say, that's awful. Because, like, it is awful for those, but that's what they're built for, right? So when you take a look at, what is the average viewership time on a YouTube video? Probably 20 minutes, which demolishes 3 seconds. Look at films. An hour and a half, probably closer to 2 hours per film, at least. The biggest films that have released and the best at the box office are 3 hours or more, or close. So it's just like, I would argue films have not died. The box office has not died. Theater and cinema is in trouble because it did it to itself. After spending a year and a half of us doing this, how many films outside of Superman and outside of Zootopia have you looked at and been like, that is a giant film? Not many.
Oppenheimer.
Okay, but that was before the show.
Oh, sorry.
That was 2023, which saw Barbie, which saw...
Yeah.
If you make good movies, people will go to the theaters. If you make affordable ticket prices, people will go to the theaters. We're seeing that now. Again, Project Hail Mary, Hoppers, Avatar Fire and Ash, Scream 7, GOAT, Zootopia 2. People are going to theaters to see these movies because this is the first time in a long time that we've had just a string of back-to-back great movies. I hate this argument that the box office died. Make movies people want to see. Project Hail Mary is an original. Sinners last year was an original.
5.
Yeah, Toy Story 5. That's another one that earned a lot of money, though. But, I mean, Moana 2 releases this year. Or Moana, the live action, releases this year.
Yeah.
That one will make a ton of money. So, the point stands. And I haven't even brought up Mario. Mario made a ton of money this past weekend. If you look in places where short attention spans are literally engineered, attention spans will be short. But when you take a look at the entire industry, when we're releasing movies people actually want to see, what's happening? The box office is absolutely dominating. So I hate that argument. I've hated that argument. I feel like we talked about it on the show. Yes, there is a problem with attention spans, but it's not in this capacity. Yes, Hollywood itself, California, Los Angeles, is dying. But that's because however many places are undercutting it in terms of production costs. And people are going, not just for a set location, but they're going to other places across the globe, if not the nation, for work. And a lot of those same production houses, whether it be Paramount, whether it be Warner Brothers, now the same thing, whatever, whether it be, name it. They haven't made movies people want to go see. I end my rant.
Speaking of attention spans, I have deleted TikTok and Instagram.
Wow.
I am 1 week. I actually don't have any apps on my home screen right now.
Wow, big time.
So I get on my computer and it is makes you wish they've never made a desktop version of any of those apps because it sucks. It's awful. But yeah, I am. You wouldn't believe how often like you're doing the dishes or like you're doing laundry or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch a TikTok, and it's 2 hours later you're watching TikToks in your laundry room. So I got off of that, and so am I away from screens? No, not so much. But am I actively, I guess, doing things like itemizing my keyboards or
you're more productive
stuff like that? Like I'm trying to at least either learn something or be productive in some capacity. But it's an addiction. I mean, there was a point where I was like, dang, I can't believe like every 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, I gotta pull my phone out.
Yeah.
You get to the home screen and it's like, and it's not like the apps are deleted. Like the app, like so TikTok and Instagram are deleted, but like Facebook, like I still have Facebook because I'm not giving up Marketplace.
Yeah.
I would delete Facebook if Marketplace was its own app. But I'm now tempted by Facebook Reels, which makes me like not very happy, and I'm about to delete Facebook too.
Yeah.
But
you can always look at Marketplace on your desktop.
That's where it's back to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's trying to be more present.
We didn't mean to divulge into a contact or like a conversation on social media, but like that's when we talk about the box office and it's back. That's what everyone's pointing to is like, oh, well, of course it was a pandemic, but then it's like everyone's on their phones and attention spans are shorter. Again, it's a fallacy. If you're looking at attention, if you're looking to gauge attention span on social media, yes, it's going to look awful because that's what they're designed to do.
Yeah.
As
Literally,
short
by court court
Yes.
found Meta guilty of
as convicted.
manufacturing their algorithm.
Yes, that is how it works. And so again, you can't have this conversation without that. And that is my big kind of takeaway from this is that but movies never went away. People just like production houses aren't making movies people want to go see. And when people do want to go see movies, they're making a ton of money. And it just happens to be, it happens to be that this first quarter of 2026 had a string of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I refuse to believe. Again, I think it's a fallacy of attention spans. Again, I'm not denying that attention spans are worse because of social media. Because yes, of course. But in terms of overall, like, oh, our content has to be shorter, yada, yada, yada. I do not believe that. Anywho, that's been our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Jake, is there anything you want to leave the people at home with before we let them go?
Emily wants me to tell you to do her Ryan Gosling video.
Oh, yeah, play the Ryan Gosling video. Do you need me to do it? Yeah, bro psyched us out. Again, I led with because he was like, yeah, Ryan Gosling. No, that is exactly what happened with the Daniels and their next film. Anywho, we sadly say goodbye to the Ryan Gosling Daniels project. And that is how we say goodbye to you.
I mean, it's still happening, but
no, it's not. Not with Ryan Gosling.
But not with Ryan Gosling.
But not with Ryan. No, this is how we end the show. Goodbye.